Emily, who is she? You are going to, yeah, thank you, Van. She is a woman who has started this amazing initiative for female engineers. And I'm not going to tell more about it. I'll let her do that. But I had the honor of having her in a leadership training I did for Siemens, I guess, last year. And, in your life, you come across hundreds of people, in seminars and workshops, in the hallway, at different events, and it's hard to remember everybody, but it was not hard to remember Emily. Yeah, she's the kind of woman that just sticks out, and that's all I'm going to say. Emily, over to you. Feel free. We're happy to listen to you, learn from you, and ladies in the room, have your pens ready. Be writing down questions for her after her impulse. So, Emily, it's an honor. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Bert. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share my screen and include my sound as well. And just let me know if I'm muted or there's anything you can't hear. And I won't be able to see you guys. So really, let me know if you can't hear what I'm saying.
Will do.
Perfect. So I named this presentation, Let's Enable Women to Shape the World. And this is something that's very close to my heart. Like Sarah said, I've been working with this for many, many years. And yeah, happy to be here. Short about me, I'm a Swedish woman now living in Switzerland, working at Siemens. I'm proud mother of 2 kids. My background is that I'm a mechanical engineer from Stockholm. And I am since 2008 the founder, together with one of my best friends, of the Women Engineer Foundation. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here today. I'm going to talk a lot about what's going on in Sweden because the foundation is based in Sweden. But as you know, Sweden is usually ranked as one of the most equal countries in the world. So I think what is true for Sweden should be true for the rest of the world. And in worst cases, it's going to be worse everywhere else. So bear with me with the statistics. Anyhow, let's get started. In Sweden today, there are around 300,000 girls and non-binary between the age of 13 and 19 years old. And these are the girls that we target with the foundation, 300,000. We have a dream with the foundation, and it is that every single one of them should have the self-confidence and knowledge to be able to choose their own future. And I would like you to really remember these 2 words throughout this impulse speech, the self-confidence and the knowledge. And I would like to ask all of you now during my presentation to think a little bit about, could the things that I say now about young girls and tech be true for you and leadership, and true for you and in the areas that you work with right now? The self-confidence and the knowledge. What this means is that we do not want all 300,000 of them to become engineers. Our dream is that they have the self-confidence and the knowledge to choose their own future, and not that anyone else tells them what to do or not to do. This is actually European statistics. It's based from UK, Germany, and Sweden. And it measures the interest in STEM subjects of grade 5 and grade 9. And what we can see here is that in grade 5, then boys and girls have the equal high interest of tech. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. But something happens when they reach grade 9, and especially something happens with the girls. And I will let you think for a moment what you think happened. Well, it's actually you that happens. It's everywhere around the girls that happens. It's not the girls themselves that lose interest. It's other people telling them that they're not interested, which makes them think that they're not interested. And again, think a little bit on how this is related to what other people might say about you when it comes to leadership or having a career or doing other things. Is it you that don't have the interest, or is it other people telling you you don't have the interest? Anyhow, these girls, they perceive this subject suddenly as very tough, very boring, very hard. They don't like it and so on. And we have in our foundation the goal to change this, because when they were younger, they did have a big interest. We work together with a researcher. Her name is Ulrika Sultan, and she's only researching right now at the University of Linköping in Sweden on girls and tech. And she's doing a lot of studies both in Sweden and abroad. And her conclusion is that there's no specific gene. There's nothing that says that a woman or a girl is born uninterested of tech, because we think that we might have found out about that gene by now in that case. It's the society that creates the myth that girls are not interested of tech. And it's the society around these girls that form some kind of belief of what is tech? What is this thing that they should be interested of? So a lot of things we work with is not trying to get girls interested of tech. They are already interested in tech. We're just trying to make them meet role models in tech that actually can give them a little bit of self-confidence and knowledge about what it's all about. And in our foundation, we have an event every year that is called Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. And I'm going to show you a movie now, what that could look like. It's called Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. It's the same day every year. We have done it since now it's actually the 10th year this year. It's the end of March. And what we do is that we let girls and non-binary between 13 and 19 years old try out the life of an engineer for a day. So we ask companies basically to open up their doors for these young girls. And every year we have more than 2,000 girls in Sweden that attend this day. And we have, for a reason, we have girls 13 to 19 years old mixed in these groups. And the reason is this graph that I showed you, because we want the young ones that are still have the belief of the interest in tech to meet the ones that are lost interest. And we want the young ones to be an inspiration for the older ones. And we also want the older ones to be an inspiration for the young ones, because there might be a few of the older ones that have chosen this path. And now you're going to see the video, what it can look like. And this is at Volvo Cars in Gothenburg, where these girls tried out the life of an engineer for a day.
The most inspiring thing today was the programming. I learned a lot and I liked it.
My biggest learning today is when you are an engineer, it's like don't let you sit just on a chair and just play in your computer. It's so much more than people think it is.
Are you still with me?
Yes, very much.
Good, perfect. So this day takes place, as I said, once every year in the end of March in Sweden. And we have this year, we have 83 companies that are going to participate all over Sweden. And we have room for about 2,400 girls. And after this day, then we, of course, ask all the participants a lot of different questions. So we do a survey with them and we publish these reports that you can see here. They are available in English. So if any one of you would like to read the report or get me back in explaining even more statistics, I would be happy to do so. But what we have seen from year to year is, yes, the girls become more interested in tech when they have seen it. And they say to us that the most important thing during that day was to meet someone. It was to see someone that is actually that they've never met before. They want to have coffee at the workplace. They want to understand what it's like, because they have been thinking a lot of maybe not thinking, they have not even known what it's like. And engineering, it didn't even cross their mind, because it was nothing that anyone never told them that, oh, why don't you become an engineer? So it's very interesting. And what we follow up then every year is that we ask the girls that then finish off the last year of school in Sweden, and then we get back to them afterwards and ask them, what did you do? And there we also have a lot of statistics seeing that the girls that participated during this day actually became engineers, which is for us, of course, wonderful. Yeah, so this is what we work with. And when we do this event every year, we think it's important that we give them something in their hand that they can touch. Even though it's a generation that is very concerned about the environment and so on, and maybe are not the ones that read like generations before and so on, we still believe that it's important. So we publish a magazine every year, and here you see 3 examples of the last 3 years magazines, what they look like. And we work together with young girls that are currently studying engineering. So this is one of our influencers, Amanda. This is a girl called Rose, and this is a girl called Vilma. And we work with them. So they are the ones producing this magazine for these young girls. And we've always said that important that it's the influencers for us should be studying engineering. So very close in age to the ones that are now considering what they should do with their life. And during the day, they get the magazine in their hand, and we're also sending this magazine to all the schools that participates. And what we do for the rest of the years is, of course, that we're available on social media. So we have an account on TikTok, we're using Instagram and LinkedIn. We do use Twitter a little bit and Facebook, but we have realized that to reach these young girls, it's really TikTok and Instagram that is the absolute best. And since a couple of months back, we have actually also started a podcast that is called Women Engineer Radio, where these 3 girls, they discuss life as an engineer, and they take in guests, and they talk about everything. And it's for us extremely important that they're not supposed to, how can I put it? They're not supposed to give a wrong image of what it's like to be an engineer. It's really their life and their stories. And again, it's all about building the self-confidence and the knowledge. Then if we can inspire someone to study engineering, that's fantastic. But we are as happy if at least we could tell someone what it's like, and they will make the judgment based on facts and not what someone else thought about it. And now I'm going to read you an email, or actually not an email. It was on Instagram. We got a direct message from a girl. And she says, "Hi, your podcast is so heartwarming and inspiring. I've been thinking about studying physics for a long time, but at times question whether I even like physics, whether I should perhaps become a doctor anyway. I hate blood and operations. Or why not a teacher? Then out of nowhere, you start a podcast and all 3 of you study physics. Hearing a little more about what it's actually like to study engineering with its ups and downs had made me realize that this is, of course, what I would like, what I should study for. You have made me realize that you don't have to be a geek or one who only lives for physics and math, but I simply find it exciting. Thank you for all the questions that are giving me joy in my not so exciting existence. Maybe we'll see each other in the future." And we get these emails and these direct messages all the time from young girls, which is, yeah, a blessing for us as a foundation. So now comes the big question to all of you. Do you think we could apply the same thinking to female leadership? And I would like to argue yes, because I would like to argue that no woman is born uninterested of leadership. I think it's as well society that creates that myth. And I would also say that, or at least I hope in all your companies, that no woman is hired uninterested of leadership. I think it's also company culture that creates that myth. And I think these 2 things are something that we really need to change and stop talking about that women have imposter syndromes and women feel that and that, instead of saying it's actually maybe us, it's the surrounding that are creating these things, and we are the ones that should change. And with that being said, I would like to say thank you for listening, and let's enable again women to shape the world.
Wow, Emily, thank you so much. Amazing. I'm really inspired. And I mean, I'd heard about your program, we've had chat, but this just to hear that, that message, and yeah, really heartwarming. All right, ladies and Bernd, now is the time for questions. I would love to have the opportunity to pick Emily's brain. So if you have a question, feel free to raise your digital hand. That's probably the easiest way, and I'll guide us through that. I mean, I guess I would have I'll start us off. Because I also have to say, this is really like the heart of leading awesome women. We're all about taking our career into our own hands, not complaining and, about the way things are, but being the change we want to see, not to sound too cliche, and that seems exactly what you did. And so how hard was it for you back then, and did you ever envision you would be where you are now with 3 magazines, podcasts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, maybe not. But I think like a guiding principle for us have always been the role modeling and always being close. So having these young girls, I'm now 37, I can't be a role model for someone who's 13 to 19 years old. So we always work with the young role models, and always what we have when you create a foundation in Sweden, you have to write this extremely boring text that you send somewhere and it has to stay there for 100 years. And in that text, we have that it's the meeting. We create these meetings, the meeting between someone who doesn't know what to do with her life and someone who's taking a decision. And then we tell the companies and we tell the role models that are going to meet these young girls, because we don't do anything. We say, like, these are the girls coming. I told you, I think, Sarah, maybe we are a little bit like Tinder. Like, we are the ones that connect these ones, but then in the end, they have to do the dating. So, but we tell them, like, give them self-confidence and knowledge. That's the only thing you should focus on. Self-confidence and knowledge. Then they can decide for themselves. These are cool young girls. We don't have to, I hate the word when you say that you have to teach girls to become interested in tech, or you have to teach women to become interested in leadership. No, you can decide that for yourself. But build on confidence, build on knowledge, and then be very close to them. So use TikTok if that's where they are. Stay out of Facebook if they're not there. I mean, we changed paths. We didn't have a magazine. We started a magazine. We are open to stop the magazine, but we have heard that people like it, and we have seen this example of the girls where they posted on their Instagram, like, I got something in my hand. So yeah.
Yeah, love
and
it.
the podcast is, as I said, I think it's 2 months old, so it's very new as well.
And is it Swedish or is it in English?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Almost the reports we do in English. So the reports are available because they are targeting to companies that have been then participating. So the reports I can send you, but unfortunately all other things are in Swedish.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I follow it on LinkedIn, and yeah, some of the posts are in Swedish, but anyways, all right, excellent. So what else do we have for Emily? Questions and comments, insights? What else do we want to hear from Emily while she's here? I have more questions, so I just want to give other people a chance. All right, then I'll go on. Maybe someone will come. You mentioned about, role models and again, and I love the way you kept linking what you do to us, women in leadership, and the principles of self-confidence and knowledge. What does that mean for us? I loved that. And how does that work in the workplace? Do you have a role model at work? Have you ever kind of a mentor, or what tips could you give us there?
No, I don't. I would love to have more, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very in my role right now. I'm quite lonely, to be honest, as a female engineer, and I would love to have more role models. And I think this is really something companies can work on. And I know there's a lot of people from Siemens here, but I mean, we're such a huge company, and we could be much better at that role modeling internally. And sometimes I think role modeling in companies, it becomes very corporate. It becomes quite boring. It's like you put these, again, it's these role models that you can't really touch. And the whole thing with this Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day is really coffee talk. Show them what it's like. Show them a workplace that is not something frightening. We don't need to train 300,000 CEOs. That's not what we're doing. So the same for role modeling, and what I said, this company culture that creates the idea that women don't want to have leadership position, or I even think sometimes it feels that we have to. It's something even untouchable to be a female leader in some companies. You don't know who are they and where are they and how did they become there? Why? Why is it like that? So no, more role modeling is always good. Always in any way. And I really want to go back to that with young girls. When you see this drop of interest, if in leadership, and I think you said this in your course, Sarah, as well. If you give a bad criticism to someone or bad feedback, you have to give 3 good things to pair up with that bad thing. Same thing here. If a girl hears that she's not good in tech, or that math is now a little bit difficult, as we see it with grades with these girls. These girls have better grades in math, better grades in physics, better grades everywhere. Still, they don't believe they can become an engineer. I think it's the exact same thing with leadership. You think that you have to be even better, or even better than that only female leader that is available. And it's going to make it very hard for girls. So we are the ones that have to change.
So true.
Yeah.
So true, Emily. Yeah.
So role modeling with everyone. It's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And then one more thing, sorry, but the researcher that we work with, she says that sometimes what you do is that you have high school for technicians or something, and there's 2 girls that apply every year and they get in, and those are the ones that you put on the front of the magazine. And they don't want that. They just want to go to that school like anyone else. They don't always want to be the one that has to be the role model. So think a little bit that I think in company cultures as well. Who do we put our role models?
Right. Do they want to be,
Yeah.
a role model? Yeah. So good. And I think that's what you were talking about. Yeah. Like the self-confidence and knowledge. And I do love that, Emily. And I think, and again, I like how you connected it to us in our context, if we're engineer or not, or even wanting to become a leader. I think that such sound principles. Yeah. No, brilliant. Brilliant. Any other question for Emily before we have to unfortunately say goodbye? Bernd, go for it.
Can I ask questions here? No,
Yes.
I'm really touched by what you said. These that maybe some words maybe not meant that way, but out of not thinking too much can harm such in this case girls, that they kind of give up dreams, and that what you said touched me in terms of you need to get out the Lego and the Playmobil and whatever and really build this up. And I think this not only counts for girls, right? I personally also know this from just my education.
It's the same. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but question.
The drop is there for the boys as well. So it's the drop is worse for girls, but there's a drop for boys as well. So there is a problem of not getting
professions. Or when I wanted to play the trumpet and whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But what could maybe either leaders or the female engineers, what can they learn from the girls? Is there some role modeling element
for sure.
in the girls?
This is I have a few, not a few. I have many funny stories, but there are 2 that are quite funny. One was at Saab. So Saab is making the one of the flight jets in Sweden. The flights, so we are now doing robots for Ukraine as well. But Saab is one of the companies that are doing military defense in Sweden, and they have for a long time been part of Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. And afterwards, they called us and they said that they had shown the flight simulator for JAS for these girls. And it went fine. The girls flew and it was fine and so on. And then afterwards, the guy stepped out and he was like, is there something else you would like to do now? And then one of these young girls raised her hand and she said, why couldn't we shoot? And then he was like, he didn't think about that they want to shoot. Of course they want to shoot. So then everyone in again, up in the flight simulator and shooting like crazy. And he stood there and he said, I did not think that they wanted to shoot. How stupid of me. And that was one thing. And then in Volvo Cars, there was actually one girl that sent a PowerPoint afterwards about the self-autonomy drive that was so good that they had to send that one to the ones working with the self-autonomy drive situation. And she was quite young. I think she was about 14 or something. So the problem is that you can't hire someone under 15 in Sweden because that's like children labor. So they had a huge problem with HR. How can we get her PowerPoint? And how can we use this? But she can't work here, So that happens all the time. And also, one last one as well at Volvo Cars. They did this exercise because there's a lot about doing things together and so on. And they did an exercise with an autonomous drive car where they placed a few chairs and the girls could sit like if it would be autonomous. And then they had a discussion around that. How would that feel? And then there's a girl who says like, I don't want to have a self-autonomous drive. I want to drive my own car. I've been looking forward to drive a car my whole life. Now you're telling me when I grow up, I'm not going to drive a car. So all these things is so interesting for these companies to like, and that's what we tell them the whole time. During this day, take your worst problem, the nightmare of your company, what you're working on right now, put that in the hands of these girls for one day, and then let them pitch for you what they think. And it's hilarious. You can on LinkedIn, you can go on LinkedIn, you can search for IGE Day as a hashtag, and then you get tons of companies that posted pictures and videos of that day and what happens and so on. But that's really something that happens a lot, is that these girls, they just raise their hand and like, hey, what do you think about this? I don't want to have this like this, or, you know. Yeah.
Love it. And when will you extend beyond Sweden with your Girls' Day?
Yeah, I mean, last year Volvo Cars attended in the US as well. So that was the first company outside of that did it outside of Sweden. This year Vattenfall is part of it, and they will do it in Belgium. And we think that Hitachi Energy will participate here in Zurich. So if you're working for a company that would like to participate abroad, what we basically need is a little bit of help on finding schools in your area, because we have an extremely good network in Sweden with schools. But abroad, it becomes a little bit an issue in finding, okay, but where should the girls come from? Again, we are Tinder, so we are the ones knowing that situation. So, but anyhow, reach out to me, and then we can see if you can join this year.
Awesome.
And it's again, it's a non-for-profit foundation, so it's done by hands and feet when you're not working.
Right. And you get funding from grants or government. You get funding.
So exactly, we get funded, and then also the companies, they can fund us as part of their ESG thinking or sustainability thinking. So we are funded by the companies that participate. But it's we only have one full-time employee, so it's a small tight budget.
Yeah.
But we do a miracle with all the wonderful volunteers that we have that are studying engineering.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm also so moved. Anyone else other for Emily, comment, question? I'm going to leave this meeting with a smile on my face.
Okay.
Because seriously, Emily, this is really inspiring. And again, and I think for us in our own context, you know, it's such an encouragement and motivation to really not complain and cry because things are unfair. Yeah, look at the mountain in the face, you know, but do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, taking things into your own hands, you know, and even I like what you say, even we're not trying to push these girls to be engineers. No, if they want to grow up and be a teacher, a doctor, whatever, it's fine. But anything they determine.
Yeah,
they are, and I think that's key, because we have so many messages. No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Who says? Yeah. And so the same goes for us ladies. Yeah. Same goes for us in our own leadership development. Yeah. And what we do and how we move on. Who says? Know what this, you know, sure, we have bosses and structure and processes, but at the end of the day, we determine what happens, not society. And I think that's such a good reminder. And Emily, you have really given us some fresh air, and I think just really confirmed what leading awesome women is all about. And these are some awesome women, and I'm so glad we had a discussion. We heard from some other brave voices, other female engineers from the room. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your experience. And Emily, what's the best way to get in touch with you? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
For the ones of you working in Siemens, of course, Siemens internal network, email, whatever. But otherwise, LinkedIn is absolutely the easiest.
Okay. We'll do that. I say, get in touch with her, follow a women engineer, even if you don't understand Swedish.
Exactly.
It's a cause worth supporting. And So anything else, Bernd, from your side?
No, just a big thank you. And
thank you for having me.
We
really
might
fun.
get the slides. We will distribute also to the other 70 or 60 female leaders here in this group.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you so much. I will leave now, but you rock, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
You too,
Thank
Emily.
you.
Cheers.
Bye.
We'll be in
Bye.
touch.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.